Alrighty, what up, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We're going to recap Game 2, and then we're done talking about Game 2 because it was just one loss. No matter how ugly it was, no matter how bad it was, it counts on the score sheet the same. The series is 1-1. The New York Knicks, they took care of business in those first two games in Cleveland. They got the split. Now they got to win home court. Look, if you win every game at Madison Square Garden in this series, you are going to be victorious. But I'm not going to be the full half glass or the glass half full guy right here because it was bad yesterday. It didn't just seem like one loss. The Knicks, they got punched in the face, and then they got punched in the face again, and then they didn't respond. I mean, when you look at how the New York Knicks win basketball games, it's by taking care of the basketball. The Knicks had 14 turnovers in the first half. Another way the Knicks win the game is they show that they are the more physical team. They impose their will on the other team. They own the glass. And if you get beat in the rebounding matchup in this series in a game, I don't think the Knicks are going to win that game. And they got beat on the glass as well. Also, the Cleveland Cavaliers bench outscored the New York Knicks bench. If the Knicks have the same amount of turnovers as the Cavs, or more, if they get out-rebounded by the Cavs, and if their bench gets outscored by the Cavs, the Knicks will not win. And hopefully going back to the Garden, and we'll talk about Immanuel Quickley and Quentin Grimes, the Knicks role players here in a second, but hopefully those guys play better at home. That's kind of been the stigma always around the NBA playoffs, is your role players don't play well on the road. But I do think there is a big importance on Game 3, because if you let the Cavs come into MSG on Friday and go up 2-1 in this series, they're going to smell blood in the water for Game 4. Worst case scenario, you head back to Cleveland for Game 5 and it's 2-2, but you want to take advantage of home court. What do you got to do? The little things. It's always about the little things. Rebound the basketball. Take care of the basketball. Make your free throw shots, and you need your bench guys to score. So I want to ask this question to start today's show. We'll look back on Game 2 in a second. Let's look forward, though. Let's look forward. Is Game 3 a must-win for the New York Knicks? Sound off for me in the comments section. Type Y for yes or N for no. Let's start. We'll go through the stats for just about all the key players in this game. Jalen Brunson. No player that played for the Knicks is the reason they lost, so I'm not blaming the game on anyone. Brunson didn't have a good game, though. He started off the game pretty cold. He had like 4 shots in that first quarter that went halfway down and then popped out. 6 assists, 5 rebounds. But the thing I was most disappointed in Jalen Brunson, who I believe is going to bounce back in Game 3 like he always does, is the Knicks had 14 turnovers in the first half. When you are the point guard of a basketball team, it is your job to have everybody organized, under control, and play a brand of basketball where you take care of the rock, and that's simply not what the Knicks did. The Knicks never had Jalen Brunson come up and slow everybody down, get a good possession. He's got to be more of a point guard. I thought he looked for his shot a little bit too much early on in this matchup. I want him to go back to getting others involved in Game 3. Obviously, let Brunson cook has been a recipe for success for the New York Knicks, but when your team is struggling, throwing the ball away, throwing it off a player's head, throwing it in to the row 1 of the Quicken Loans Arena, you need your point guard to stabilize the game and take care of the ball. I want him to do a better job than that, and he's got to hit that outside shot. 1 of 8, not going to get it done. Randle's stats don't look all that bad, right? 22 points, 8 rebounds, 40% from the deck, 43% from 3, but the stat that we are not showing is the most important. He had 1 assist, and he had 6 turnovers. That is quite literally unacceptable. Julius Randle said after the game that he's turning the ball over too much, and he'll take that into account, watch film, and get better at it, and that's all you really can hope right now for the Knicks. I think he's looked healthy. I thought he was active at least a little bit. I thought he was a little bit disengaged on the glass early on. Knicks kind of got beat up. Evan Mobley got beat up in Game 1, and Mobley and Jarrett Allen came back in Game 2, and they answered with a punch, and the Knicks, they just took it. They didn't fight back. I need Randle to have a good game in Game 3 or Game 4. We need one of those games where Randle goes for 35, 38, 40 points and carries this team to a win. Look, Darius Garland did it. Julius Randle, he needs to do it as well. We will be live for Game Game 3, yes, this Friday here on the channel. We will go live about an hour before tip-off. So subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on and join us on Friday for Game 3. Sub for Knicks playoff dubs. Come on, let's go up 2-1. Do your part. RJ Barrett was terrible. Yet again, he's been terrible all series long. 4-13 in Game 2, 2-12 in Game 1. When you look at what RJ Barrett has done so far, he is... I'm going to look at the stats right here so I can quote this perfectly. RJ Barrett is 6 of 25 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3, and he's shooting 24% from the field. I think that you have to ask the question, can he play in this series? Because how many times did we see, obviously the Knicks defensive scheme in Game 1 was have RJ Barrett on Darius Garland. He did an okay job. Garland still had 17 points, shot above 50%. Game 2, the Cavs said, if you are going to put RJ Barrett on Darius Garland, we're going to put him in high pick and roll after high pick and roll and high pick and roll. What happened when that happened? RJ Barrett would get screened. He'd die on the screen. He'd put too much pressure on the helper. The court would be spaced. Garland could get to whatever spot he wanted to, and he had shooters over here. He had LeVert over here. He had Mitchell over here, and they hit their shots. I don't know how much longer you could play RJ Barrett in this series. The fact that RJ Barrett through 2 games has played 64 minutes, which is the 3rd most on this team, and more than Josh Hart, and more than Immanuel Quickley, and more than Quentin Grimes, is unacceptable. Those guys haven't been great, but they at least play defense. They at least get on the floor for loose balls, and they can at least hit a freaking shot and not go fucking 6 for 26. RJ Barrett, you got to pick it up, my man. Maybe I'm being too hard on him. I don't think I am. What do you think? Should the Knicks bench RJ Barrett? You're probably going to be like, why would they do that? He was the 3rd overall pick. You know Isaac Okoro was the 5th overall pick in the 2020 draft? Isaac Okoro's 22. RJ Barrett's 22. Isaac Okoro played 2 minutes. The first 2 minutes of the game, he was a starter and didn't start the second half. JB Bickerstaff did what was best for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Tom Thibodeau, it's your turn now. Should the Knicks bench RJ? Should they bring him off the bench? Should they start him? Let me know what you think down in the comments section. We'll get to more stats coming up. We'll talk about everything that happened in Game 2, but make sure you guys do have your Knicks Now Real One t-shirts. Go to chatsports.com/Real Knicks. Look, everyone's going to be a fan of the Knicks when they're up 1-0. What about when it's 1-1? The real fans are going to stand up, get your gear. Chatsports.com/Real Knicks. That link is clickable in the comments and description of today's show. Immanuel Quickley kind of falls into that Julius Randle bucket right here. The stats look okay, 12 points, 50%, but he didn't make his first shot until midway through the 3rd quarter when the Knicks were already down 25. Immanuel Quickley didn't make his first field goal in this series until midway through the 3rd quarter. Where's the swag? Where's the dancing? Where's the prancing? Where's the shrewd, clever, and slick plays by Immanuel Quickley? Hopefully when the Garden is rocking on Friday and Quickley can get back to being that swaggy player, being that guy that leads this bench unit. Because that's how you have to win this series. You need guys like Immanuel Quickley. You need guys like Josh Hart. You need guys like Obi Toppin. You need guys like Isaiah Hartenstein and Quentin Grimes. You need your role players to outplay their role players. And that didn't happen. Caris LeVert was great. Josh Hart didn't play all that well. He had the worst plus-minus on the team. Wonder how much that ankle bothered him. Grimes hasn't been good in the first 2 games. He had those 2 clutch free throws in Game 1 and want to give him some credit for that. But Obi really has been your best role player so far. He gave you great minutes in Game 1. I thought he gave you good minutes once again in Game 2. The shots just didn't fall for him. Shots didn't fall for anybody. But if Obi, Grimes, Hartenstein, Quickley, and Josh Hart aren't going to be the best 5 role players in this series, that's going to be a problem for the New York Knicks. Hartenstein, I thought, played great. He battled. He had 1 steal, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 points. He's a battler. He's a guy that's always going to give you heart. I like Isaiah Hartenstein. But you need these 2 guys. You need Immanuel Quickley and Quentin Grimes to hit their shots. You need them to step up. You need them to carry the role players. They have to be good if the Knicks want to win this series. Are you concerned about them? They were MIA in games 1 and 2. Rate your scale of confidence. 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident, 100 being you're extremely confident. I am confident. I think they'll bounce back, but I want to hear you sound off. All righty, the star of the game for the Cleveland Cavaliers was Darius Garland. He was the best player on the floor. He set the tempo for them early on. Got rolling early on. I think he had 26 points exactly in the first half. Got to the line as well 11 times in the first half, which is wild because he averages 4.8 free throws per night this season. I'm not blaming this game on the refs, but you could tell that they were trying to make it a less of a street fight and more of an actual basketball skilled game, which definitely favors the Cleveland Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell, the thing is, you lost by 17. You got your ass whipped, and he didn't even play. Didn't play is not the right word I want to use. He didn't have an elite scoring output like he usually does. He was just the orchestrator this time. He sat back. He gave the ball to Garland. He let Garland go to work. He was cooking. Mitchell, 13 assists, a career high. Still efficient. He was great. He was great. Caris LeVert. It comes down to who's going to be better, I think. R.J. Barrett or Caris LeVert, and so far LeVert has taken that first step in this race. Game 2, he was electric. 24 points for the Cavs. He took advantage when he got smaller guys on him. You saw Jalen Brunson attempt to guard LeVert because they wanted him on their wings. But it wasn't just Brunson that Caris LeVert cooked. He cooked Immanuel Quickley. He cooked R.J. Barrett. Whoever guarded LeVert, they got cooked. Evan Mobley bounced back. Young bull didn't play well at all in Game 1. But he bounced back with 13 points and 13 rebounds, and him and Jarrett Allen really imposed their will in this ball game. They beat up the New York Knicks. They were the bigger, stronger, faster team. They looked like they wanted it more, and of course they did. Their season was on the line. If they go down 2-0 to the Knicks, head back to the Garden for 2 matchups there, their season was over. But I just want to end the show saying with this. I'm still rolling with Knicks in 6. I'm still rolling with Knicks in 6. You know who won Game 2 2 years ago? In the first round, it was the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks won Game 2 against the Atlanta Hawks. They lost in 5 in that series. Just because you win Game 2 doesn't mean you are going to win the series. The Knicks, they have everything they want right now, everything ahead of them. They control their own destiny. It's 1-1. Head to the Garden. You win the 3 games you have at the Garden. 1 + 3 is 4, and that's enough wins to punch your ticket for round 2. I'm still rolling with Knicks in 6. Game 3, we need the Garden to be rocking. We need everyone to show up quickly. Grimes, my eyes are on you. You guys have not played well so far. You're back at home. You're back in New York. Get back to being those great basketball players that really carried the Knicks this year so far. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Remember, we'll be live on the channel on Friday, an hour before tip-off. Bring the energy. Bring the swag. Knicks in 6. We'll see you later.